Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Renee, and today I'm doing a tutorial on the look I was wearing in my ring collection video because 2 people wanted to see it, and that makes me really happy because nobody's ever done a request on like my makeup look before, which was really cool. So I was like, yes, I will oblige. It's my pleasure to sit down and play with makeup. You don't have to ask me twice. But yeah, so I'll get into it. I have everything listed in the description box of what I'm wearing all the time. I'm going to start with this MAKIAGE primer. It's their no filter poreless base because I'm trying to use it up since it's not vegan. And it's like one of my only primers that's not. I have somewhat of like an unofficial project pan of makeup that I want to use up because it's not like vegan or cruelty free and I don't really want it in my collection, but it's not in my project pan that I'm like focusing on with goals. It's just like, if I can finish this up soon, I'd really like that. And then to provide, because that like really fills in your pores really nicely, but then to provide some hydration, I'll use my High-Spreadability Fluid Primer from The Ordinary. I'm literally obsessed with this primer. I don't super love the dropper packaging on this because it's really liquidy and just comes out like so fast, but the formula is so nice. Then I will take my Dior Backstage Foundation, 1N. You have to shake this up because it's also really liquidy. This is also my unofficial project pan. I've thought so many times about putting this in my real project pan because I really want to use this up because it's really nice. It's just not cruelty free. So I, want to try more stuff that is. The reason why I haven't is because the packaging always looks like this. Regardless if you just shook it up or not, it's all coating the packaging. So there's no real way, like in my project pan, I like to be able to mark where the product is so I can see how much progress I've made. But unfortunately, that's just not easy with that foundation. And I've considered even like taking the scale out of my kitchen to weigh the product in the container and be like, okay, well, I've used this many grams or whatever. But I feel like I don't know where the end of that would be because I don't know how much the container weighs. I don't know. If you have an idea for how to put that product in my project pan, I'd appreciate it because it is like definitely, I feel like, my forerunner for my unofficial project pan. I've even tried, this is kind of embarrassing, but see where I've like tried to scrape off the top layer? I don't know if it's product coating this or if this thing is just colored that way, but whatever. I use my MAC Waterweight Concealer next because this is in my official project pan and I need to use it up. It's an NC20. Not really much to say about it, just that it exists. And just, pressing it in with my beauty blender as I do and bringing it up onto my eyelid as well so that I've got like a really nice even base. I do use eyeshadow primer along with this, but you can just tell it makes such a nice difference for like having a clean slate. And this sponge I got at Target from Sonia Kashuk. And at first I didn't like it because it was way too stiff, but now I really like it because of the size. I just feel like it takes so much less time. Like, look how big it is. It takes so much less time to do my makeup when I feel like the sponge gets the whole thing in one go. Then I'll take my other project pan concealer, the Maybelline Dream Lumi Touch. And I just use this for like some light contouring. Not as much for concealing, but for brightening up spots on my face that I want to be brighter. Because it's very luminous and a touch too light for like my skin tone. I don't know, this is weird. I feel like normally I like really take my time and I listen to like YouTube while I'm getting ready. So to like talk through my process and try not to just like open drawers and stuff while I'm talking, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm gonna use my e.l.f. Prime and Stay Finishing Powder. I've been really liking this as an under eye powder because I find it to be not too drying like a lot of under eye powders are, and really good at just setting the under eye area. And then quick, this is my favorite tip for doing my makeup. I don't even know, it's probably not like a secret, but I always put on my primer before dusting my whole face with powder. My eyeshadow primer, that is, because I feel as though you have to to like get the most out of eyeshadow primer, you need to set it with a powder so that other stuff can blend on top of it. If you're doing a cream product, you don't have to worry about it. But typically if I'm doing a cream eyeshadow, I'm doing a whole cream face. So if I'm using powders, what I will do is I will put my eyeshadow primer on first so that when I'm dusting my whole face with powder, I can dust my eyes with powder too. And that will set the primer without me having to take out like a separate eyeshadow and use up like all of the tan colored eyeshadow for that purpose in my eyeshadow palette. And I'm using my Derma-E Sun Protection Mineral Powder because it's in my project pan. I was really pleased to learn in my project pan that this powder was vegan, but what really shocked me was that from my quick glance at the website, there's only one color of this powder, which is just not enough by any stretch of the imagination. And it's like very yellow toned and kind of dark. I mean, for me, I'm sure for some people it works perfectly, but I was like, what world are you like, yeah, we're gonna make a sunscreen powder, but only for people of a very specific, not even neutral complexion. I don't know. I did not like that, so definitely would not be repurchasing that. I don't even know where I got this. Oh, my contour brush was in my eyeshadow brush drawer because that makes a ton of sense, right? Right. I'm taking my Aucoin Contour Powder. I have this cute little duo, but I'm not going to show you the inside because it's in my project pan. And it's starting to get difficult to pick up the product, which is a good sign. Then I'm just going to lightly carve out my cheekbones. Wow. What a natural definition to the cheekbone. Oh, no, Lord, it's just over here. Then a really sneaky trick that I do with my contour is I will take my finger into the contour powder so it gets like on my finger and brush it lightly beneath my lips to make my lips look fuller. Don't tell anyone though that that's why it looks like I have full lips. If only I had naturally full lips, then we wouldn't have to go to these extremes. Then I'm gonna use my Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer in Tan-Tastic. One thing that I've noticed is that I don't actually have any, I don't even think I have any cruelty-free bronzers, let alone vegan. So that's definitely a gap in my collection that I'd be interested to fill, but I just don't feel like buying new bronzer if I don't have to, because bronzer's low-key expensive and takes forever to work through, so you might as well just keep it, you know? There, now it looks like I have gone in the sun, which I have not because it is November and we're in quarantine. So it has to be faked, but that's fine. That's why we have bronzer. I'm trying to figure out which blush I used in that video. Let's go to the description box. I can normally figure out what other stuff that I used because like I used the same things based on like whatever kind of look I'm trying to create, but like a cool tone look or warm tone look. But for some things that I have to like write it down, especially lip color. Sometimes I'm like, Dior Backstage, MAC Waterweight, Kevin Aucoin, Wet n Wild. I did not use bronzer. I used a cream bronzer and that's it. Well, you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I did use Apri-Cot in the middle. It's for my project pan. And my Mercier Baked Radiance Matte Highlight, whatever. I don't know. It's got 7,000 different words in the title and none of them are highlighters, so I just give up. And lately I've been loving putting my blush on my nose as well. I feel like it makes me look younger. Plus I feel like when you flush across this whole, like your whole face, not just your cheeks. Both of these are in my project pan, so I don't just want to like willy-nilly show it on camera in the middle of a month. That's cheating. Do love this highlighter though. And I did dig a finger into it in my highlighter declutter video, which was embarrassing for me. I also forgot about it because I keep it in like the project pan items in a different section of my desk. Next, I'll do my eyebrows. They definitely need to be trimmed and plucked. I would love to get them waxed, but again, we're in lockdown, so there's not really many places for me to go to get them waxed, and I don't want to. But they definitely need some TLC. Just try not to look too closely. And I always start at the tail and work my way back because I feel like this part doesn't need to ever be filled in as much as my ends of my eyebrows do. I feel like I always look crazy when I've got bold eyebrows and a full face and no eye makeup or even eyelashes because they get covered with powder whenever they get covered with concealer whenever I'm putting it on. It's my least favorite time to look at myself. and eyebrow gel because we gotta set these bad boys in place or they will move all over my face. My eyebrows have a whole life of their own, not just a mind of their own, but they be out there just doing whatever they want, just living their dream life while I'm trying to just get them to cooperate for 1 minute. Okay, and we're finally on to like the main event, the eyeshadow. So the only palette I used was this Beauty Bay Pastels palette, and I had been looking for a Pastels palette forever. A lot of them are not vegan, which I guess I understand. Maybe it's difficult to formulate. I don't know. This one is, so it can't be that difficult. And it was like $11 or something crazy. So of course I ordered it. It came really quickly, even shipping on Beauty Bay. So I would definitely recommend it. It even comes with a cute little mirror and all these shades, which are like super fun and pastel and definitely great for like spring. I know it's November, so it's cold here, but like if you're in Australia, I don't know if Beauty Bay ships to Australia, but it's worth a shot. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I definitely used you, then you on one eye, and you on the other. And I definitely would have started with the yellow and the green because those, I think I only use one brush. So you have to start with the lighter colors when you use one brush so that you can use the same brush with the darker colors, and the darker colors won't overpower the lighter colors. I probably would just take a brush like this. This is from Juvia's Place. It has no markings, but it's like stiff and dense. Sound like good words to describe brushes. And I'll take First Light, which is this pastel yellow. And I definitely did it, this color of the rainbow, I definitely did it left to right from my perspective. I don't know if that's the same perspective on camera, but you know, you do what you know. And this look is so easy because it's literally just like packing pastel colors. Like it's so simple. And everyone's like, wow, so cool. I promise you, it's so easy. If I can do it, everyone can do it. You do have to like, it's a very pigmented palette, so it's pretty easy to work with, but I do think that you have to go over it like a few times to really like ramp up the intensity, which isn't a problem for me. I really like it when palettes are like that because then I can kind of control exactly how much color and where it goes. But I definitely know some people are like, no, I just want it to be super pigmented right off the bat. But I think as long as you can build it up, then it's no problem. And I'm taking it like even into my inner corner because that's where I'm gonna like continue on the bottom row, the bottom lid. And now I'm taking Serenity, which is obviously a lime green, and I'm doing the same thing over here. And I literally just wiped my brush off on my hand in between this. So it's very professional, very professional. Got a huge production budget over here. My ring light is definitely not resting on my mirror, so if you even think about that, you're wrong. And then I would take it just like up into the crease just a little bit, like a little bit higher than your natural crease, because we're gonna blend it like upwards, and it's nice if there is some product to blend because there's no transition color here. I felt it unnecessary. And I know it looks crazy, but we will blend it. And see, you just go like this with your brush. And because we're going from lightest color to darkest color, it doesn't matter. I would think that the next light color is Golden Hour, this pretty orange. I think there's endless color combinations you could do with this palette. Like, for how inexpensive it is, I think, I don't know. It was definitely, I don't want to say it would be like a staple for everyone, but it was definitely a staple for me because it filled a niche in my collection at an affordable price point with the vegan cruelty-free thing that I'm going for. The orange is definitely, oopsies. Whoops. I got a little cocky there talking while I'm trying to put on my makeup. The orange is definitely the least, I think, pigmented and takes the most time to build up. If I remember, I had to go in with my finger and build it up that way just because it is kind of like, on me, like the closest to skin tone. But I feel like it just doesn't show up as anything because it just registers as skin tone. But that's okay. I don't mind using my fingers for makeup. Some people do. I think that your fingers are really easy to control, like application in the exact spots that you want. So doesn't matter to me. And then I'm gonna take Cloud Free. It's this one. I'm always afraid to show palettes because I feel like they expose me. With this big mirror, they expose everything that's happening on my desk. And every time I'm setting up to film, I'm like, oh, well, at least they're not going to see what's on my desk, so I can leave all the mess on there. And then it does expose me. The mirror exposes me, and it exposes how unprofessional my setup is. It's like really rude. I'm like, can you not? The people weren't meant to see this part of my life. So I always try and like do this, but with some palettes, even this part is mirrored, or I just don't even pay attention. Oh well. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Fun. See how much easier the blue was than the orange? Then you can just wash your hands when you're done and the makeup will come off your hands. It's no problem. I think purple will be next and then pink will be last, because I think this purple is also a little bit difficult to build, and it's Daydream. Looks like that. You can also do this with any pastel palette you had. You don't need this one if you like have a bunch of pastels at home. I'm just showing you in case you do have this exact palette. Exactly what I used and how easy this is. Do you still feel like the purple could be just a hint more pigmented if it wanted, but I don't think it wants, so. Who am I to tell the purple shadow what to do? Oop, we had some fallout. That's okay, just brush it away with your finger. It actually isn't that bad of fallout with this palette, which I, like, is surprising because when you, like, dig your brush in it, you probably can't see, but there is, like, a lot of kickback with the brush. Like, it gets everywhere. It gets in all the other shades, but it's really, really, really easy to, like, blow off. Like, sometimes I feel like it gets in there and, like, contaminates the other shades. This palette's not like that. And it's easy to wipe off your face, too, but I'm going to be honest, there's not that much, like, or as much fallout as you would expect. I'm taking Lovesick, which is the pink here, as you could probably expect. I'm just gonna build it up. Same technique as always. Just put it down where I want the most pigment first, and then start using whatever's left on the brush to diffuse it out into where I want less pigment. So, like, I want the most pigment in this V, but then I want some up here above my crease and out into, like, the void. And then I want some to kind of come over here and mix with the orange a little bit to, like, have no harsh lines or transitions. But I want the most amount of pigment here. And, like, with the orange, that would be in the center. The yellow would be, like, here and up into, like, the top of the lid. Super easy, super fun. It's literally, like, an easy 1 palette, 2 brush tutorial. 3 brushes. I'm going to take this brush from Juvia's Place. These are my favorite kind of brushes for under the eye, like these angled brushes that are pretty dense, because I feel like they get a lot of product and it's really easy to control placement. And then I'll blend it out with something like this, like a tiny but very, very fluffy brush that I feel like is good for blending. And then I'll take the color that I'm using, same order as before, and I'll just put this on the bottom third of the eye down here. And just a little bit further so that the orange, when I place it, has something to blend into. Same technique as before. Look, I'm not a professional makeup artist by any stretch of the imagination. But I have been wearing makeup for like 16 years. So I have come up with some tips and tricks that work for me, the everyday average woman. But I wouldn't say like, these are industry secrets. Because do you think that this is a professional maneuver? It's just what I like. Yeah, this orange is being a real B word. And you can tell how much, well, maybe you can't. See, it just looks like my skin. Well, I tried. Then with the outer colors, you have a bit more freedom because it can kind of like, you know what I mean? It's a very scientific way to describe that. But it kind of just can go into the really intense pigment that you wanted to place on the upper eye. Okay, I feel like when I first did this, like for my ring collection video, the purple was the most difficult color, but on this one I feel like it's orange and pink. And then I'll just take this and just very gently blend it out because these colors will just also kind of blend away, but I don't want any harsh lines or edges, especially on my lower lashes. I feel like there is like a lot of room to blend downwards. So I'll just blend those out. And then I'll take, I don't know, something like this, like a very fluffy, not as dense brush. to very gently blend out the top as well for like the same very diffused effect. But you need to be careful not to go too far down and just blend all these colors into like a muddy mess. Like you have to really focus on the top because these are shadows that will blend away, and they're mostly blended. Like any harsh lines, like maybe here, you can like lightly blend over, but I wouldn't recommend just like blending over the whole thing, like with some makeup products, some eyeshadows, not with these. Let's see, that already looks like a lot better, but you've still got the gradient of color. Okay, so far so good. Did I put on eyeliner with this? Says I did. Probably a very thin line of eyeliner just to kind of like, there's a lot of attention on the eyes, but I definitely don't want to cover up any of the hard work I did putting on this eyeshadow. So very thin line of, I like these little felt tip eyeliners. See, very thin, but still adds like some definition, just like a touch of definition. Just right up close to the lash line. But I don't think I added any wing. What mascara does it say I used? I'm gonna take this moment. I am going to use a different one than I used in that video. I'm going to use my Essence Lash Princess. I'm going to go put that on and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, I'm back with my mascara on. I had some trouble. I'm testing out a bunch of mascaras for like a drugstore mascara video, and I definitely had some trouble. I promise my mascara doesn't always look like this, but this was definitely not the time to try out a new mascara, but it's the time I chose. So sometimes we just have to live with our bad decisions. This is one of those times. Okay, the finished look, I really wanted to pair like a really neutral lip color with this look because I feel like there's a lot happening elsewhere on the face. So I picked my NARS Dolce Vita. This is also my project pan, one of my all-time favorite lipsticks. And it's really nice and sheer, so it doesn't look too polished and kind of goes with that smoky diffused attitude of the eyes, you know. And then I would just set it with some setting spray, my little Cover FX one, since it's like tiny and I'm trying to just use it up. Let that dry. Just use the palette to dry myself. And then I often like to use like a finishing powder to kind of take away the shine of the setting spray and kind of blend everything together as a final step. I'm using my Guerlain Meteorites, and it just kind of blends everything together and gives it sort of a polished, glowing look at the end of the video. The end of my makeup. There, cool. And then that's it. That's how I did this look. I think for that video I probably did my hair after. This is just like what my hair, ooh, the birdies got caught in it. It's just what my hair looks like when I wake up, so that's what it's gonna look like today. But yeah, this was fun. So if you guys ever have any more video requests or want to see any more tutorials on any looks I ever do, feel free to request it because I had a lot of fun with this and I really appreciate the suggestions. So thank you to the 2 commenters who requested this, and I hope everyone else enjoyed it too. I hope I explained myself well enough. Thank you so much for watching. Please like if you liked the video and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.